Hey guys, Deathletter Magic here, and it looks like Mark Rosewater posted today, actually, even though it was a holiday, an article on Daily MTG that hopefully is going to shine some light on what the heck went wrong with Modern Horizons. I'm already declaring it a complete and utter failure financially and strategically and basically with any metric you could possibly come up with. And across all of social media, YouTube, everything, I'm yet to see anybody disagree with me on that, so I think I'm on the right track. Almost every mythic is sub $10, so is every rare, and the packs are $10. What else can you say? Oh, and you might have noticed the set has next to nothing to do with Modern. So I haven't read this article yet, but we're going to go through it together and see if Mark can shine some light on what this is and how it happened. Now, unfortunately, the article starts with last week I talked about how Ethan and I don't know who he's talking about, it must be Ethan Bradbury, and Ethan and I turned our idea for making a more complex nostalgia-rich supplemental product aimed at enfranchised players into a week-long hackathon project. Okay, I was going to say I'm not going to read that, but if he explains what I think he just said, they put this together in a week, that actually, I might as well stop reading right there. There's your answer, everybody. Oh, this would be cool, Modern. Oh, let's do this. Let's add this. Ooh, nostalgia. Oh, that's right. It has to be worth buying. Whoops. So anyway, I didn't read that one either, but whatever. This video would be way too long. So let's just move on past it and just take what he said at face value. So he says, I discussed how we put together our team and explained that we started by putting the mechanic Changeling in the set as our glue. Oh, why is that the baseline? Why? It's the most exploitable, problematic overtime thing that you can possibly do, because now every tribal that they make from now until the end of time, oh, that's right, Changeling can go in there. Oh, remember that Changeling? Oh, that's a vampire too. That's an elf too. That's a merfolk too. Whoops. I cannot believe that this idiot Mark Rosewater thought that was a good idea, but then again I can because this is Mark Rosewater. So this week, I'm going to discuss all the various themes we put into the set. Also, I have a pretty exciting preview card. I don't care, I've probably already seen it and covered it. Let's see. So Changeling, let me start by talking a little bit more in depth about what I brought up last week. Changeling was added to the file. I think it means to the set. Wait, to serve as glue for the set. I mean, I'm sure it's a digital file, somewhere on the server, it's a Word document or something, but what? I think he means the short list or the notes, the outline, the file. I don't think I'm going to get past that. That is just the strangest way to phrase that. Number one, splash tribal themes. Yeah, you don't want to just splash tribal themes because then it's undraftable. Even Ixalan, it was hard enough to just be dinosaurs, pirates, vampires, and whoever the hell else was in there, I forgot. And just go with it. Oh yeah, merfolk. And then you draft as much of that as you can. It's doable, but then if you split one, it's a disaster. If you just splash it, you can kiss any hope of synergy goodbye. In fact, the first sentence is normally in a set. It's hard for us to include a tribal theme at uncommon or below unless the set has a certain level of support, aka a large enough as fan of that creature type. I have no idea what that means. Then it's a link referencing an article from 2017. Thanks, Mark. Nobody knows what you're saying. Having a bunch of creatures with Changeling essentially allowed us to reach that threshold for all creature types. No, it didn't. There's 4 or 5 Changelings? And you have to draft them all and some are uncommon? One's mythic, I know that. Which meant that any and all tribal cards were now fair game. Okay, you do realize that in a draft, people are going to want to draft the Changeling. Everybody is, so everybody's going to grab it. So there still aren't enough to go around. Holy crap, this guy's dumb. So that did a lot in allowing us to add individual cards we knew players had been asking for. Now see, that's screw draft, screw the pre-release, screw everything, put money in and put what people want. If you want to sell a set, they've been catering to draft and rooting standard constructed and rooting products because of draft forever, okay? This set should have been the easiest damn thing in the world to put together because it has 0 constructed anything. I mean, the constructed is 8th edition onward. There's no set constructed, block constructed, or here's the new standard set. It's constructed plus 3 more. So you can take Constructed, throw it out the window. You can take Draft, throw it out the window. It's basically a reprint set with some new stuff. Cool. Just print money and print what people need to play the damn format and play the game. Still, modern decks are like $1,500. What reprint sets should do is fix that. I know this isn't like, yeah, it's not really a master set. And I think they said it was supposed to be like 50% not. And then they decided to reprint a grand total of 5 cards from Modern in it, which was a disastrous mistake. But still, this is a reprint set. I don't care that they put this ridiculous restriction on themselves for no reason. Whatever. So print a bunch of Eternal staples then. This is basically Eternal Masters 2 at this point, or Commander Masters. If they would just print exactly enough to get to like a $400 EV on launch, everybody would buy it, they could sell double, it would suppress the price of Modern, it would make it more affordable, more players, more decks, more purchases, more money to single sellers, more money to LGSs, everybody wins, the players get a more affordable format, people investing in singles are dicks anyway, so they lose a little bit of money, whatever. And a lot of people investing in singles also will buy and sell this set online and make a profit on this, so there you go. There's your money made up. All they needed to do was say, screw draft, you can draft this if you want, but it's going to be not the best to draft, and that's it. And then just print whatever the hell they need to. I don't care if it has zero synergy. You ever heard of something called Chaos Draft? It's fun. You ever heard of fun, Mark? I'm convinced that at Wizards, they don't know what fun is. They forgot what that word even means. So anyway, yeah, he thinks that the only other thing that's important about this, which is draft, is, they put in enough tribals by adding changelings, which anybody playing any tribal is going to grab. So as I said, there's not enough to go around still. They didn't add enough even in the first place. So disastrous mistake number 1 was thinking that would work. Gotcha. Number 2, make simple cards. Does he know this is Modern Horizons? There ain't nothing simple about this. If he thinks cards just got super simple after 8th edition, I got a whole playlist that I could send him. I mean, prior to 8th edition, it's basically the Bermuda Triangle of weird cards, but it's not like everything got super simplified after 8th, okay? This is designed for Modern. Feel free to make it complicated. The intro to Magic, the format that people learn, Standard, that could stand to be simplified a little bit, I guess, to be more approachable. Modern, nobody just jumps into Modern, okay? So, disastrous mistake number 2, completely misinterpreting Modern. Oh boy. So while Modern Horizons was created as a product with an overall higher complexity level than standard legal sets, did he just contradict the title? I should really read this before I go on a rant about it. Theirs still was, that's what he wrote. There is still was a limit to how much complexity we could have. Changeling allowed us to make a bunch of cards that were vanilla. They did nothing else. French vanilla, they had a creature keyword or two, or just had one other line of text. Wait, what would that be? I think he means activated abilities, but he didn't say it. Oh, God, what? How drunk were you? I know you posted this on Memorial Day, but my God. Number 3, riff on old cards. That doesn't sell anything, it just confuses people. It's like, ooh, nostalgia. Oops, the boosters aren't worth opening. Like, who cares? Priorities, Mark. I know you made it number 3, but this means nothing. I mean, it could have been the last thing they did. Okay. So he says many of our Changeling cards are making a nod to an older simple card, I think he means simpler card, that we've repeated except with the Changeling ability. And he actually shows artwork. One of the Changelings like literally is just an edited or like Photoshop version of a different art on a different card. I didn't realize that. That's kind of neat, but it's not going to sell packs, just FYI, to reiterate. Changeling shows up in white and black with a splash in green, multicolored, and artifact. Oh, God. We also had our Conceptors. I'd look it up, but let's just say that's not a word. It's Conceivers. It's not Conceptors. I don't need to look it up. Anyway, come up with a new visual take for the mechanic. And plus, he should have said conceive of a new okay, you know what? I'm just going to start correcting the grammar on the fly so that I don't just make this 50% about his shit writing. Okay, I did look it up. It's not a word, but I think he was going for the people who come up with concepts, not the people who conceive of the concepts and then just spelling the word wrong. But also, it's not a word. Also, I think he means concept artists. Anyway, Slivers is the next heading. Just off with them. You should know at this point that everybody hates them. Everyone. A big inspiration for themes in Modern Horizons came from ongoing requests from the players. So he means tryhard douchebags, pros, and trolls on Reddit. Just FYI, that's who he listens to. Of the themes I get asked about, there's probably not a louder one than bring back Slivers. Okay, it's a meme. People don't actually want you to do it. They're saying it ironically, you idiot. So it's like, oh yeah, when is Infect coming back? Ha ha ha, it's a meme, it's a joke, ha ha ha. It's like, can it run Crisis 2? Nobody actually wants Infect back. They're referencing it ironically because it was one of the worst things ever added to the game. So were Slivers. How the hell did he actually believe these people? And plus, demented, immature, former Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are like, yeah, I want Slivers back because I play the deck and now all my friends don't play with me and I don't know why. I need more Slivers, ha ha ha. Yeah, we all know at least 2 people like that. I know I do. I guess he listened to them too. So Slivers first appeared in the Tempest block. They then returned in Onslaught block. Then Time Spiral. Then Magic 2014. Really? And then Magic 2015. That I don't remember. I remember 14. Inspired by limited editions Alpha's Plague Rat. Okay. Slivers are a race of creatures representing a hive mind that share abilities with one another. So you ripped off StarCraft. I mean, okay, gotcha. Technically, they're shapeshifters that use the hive mind to share knowledge of how to shape new body parts and thus gain new abilities. Oh, I get it, because one drops in and then it grants it to everybody. Cool. And by cool, I mean Teferi needs to go back in time and erase them from history. One of the biggest challenges with Slivers is that because we've done them so frequently over the years, we've eaten up a lot of the design space for them. Yeah, retire them permanently. Also, now there's too many, so they're overpowered as hell. Did you think of that? Each one has a keyword ability, and there's not a lot of evergreen ones we haven't done. True, so they came up with overpowered crap for this set. Future Sight, though, taught us a cute trick. It's just adorable, I'm sure. If you put them in a set where you have access to a larger amount of mechanics, you can start pairing them with creature abilities that appeared in sets without Slivers. I mean, or you can just print it on the card regardless. I don't really see why he said that. Just print whatever the hell you want. Who cares? Especially in a set where synergy doesn't mean anything because it's not in standard. And there's no constructed scene. Yeah. Well, Modern Horizons had that in spades. You could just print a sliver that doesn't match anything else in the set. I don't get why he thinks it has to match. They don't need synergy. You're just printing them. Add to it the tribal theme that Changeling enabled. Yeah, that's nice. And this set seemed like the perfect place to bring Slivers back. I will say, there's enough Slivers that you could actually play Changelings. Wouldn't really say that about, elves and stuff. It's not like I was counting tribals, but nothing else. I mean, bear maybe, but we've seen, 4 bear cards? I mean, good luck drafting even one of those. So the Changelings show up in all 5 colors. Doesn't that contradict what he just said? But are focused in red and white. So I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more get spoiled in the future. I think with what this article says, that has to be true because we haven't seen enough. So if you're drafting the set and want to play Slivers, I'd recommend sticking to Boros colors. Great. And the worst of the worst Slivers are in those colors, if I recall. Great. Before I move on, I just wanted to share a designer's story. You know what? I'm not going to read it. Shut up. Ninjas is the next one. Now, here we go. Now, this is legit because ninjas are cool and people want Kamigawa done right. So, okay. So he says another big request is for more ninjas. There we go. That was a legitimate request, not people just memeing on it, okay? Betrayers of Kamigawa, which introduced ninjas to Magic. Yes, I got ninjutsu wrong in the spoilers. Get over it. I read that shit at 4 a.m. They only had 9. Commander 2018 edition would add 2 more ninjas. Unstable would add 3 more. I mean, add might not be the right word. And that's it. There have only ever been 14 ninjas ever printed. That's right, he used the ever twice in one sentence in all of Magic's history, and only 11 in Black Border. There you go. He recognizes that it's not 14 because you can't play them in anything. And yes, I mean with the word ninja printed on their type line. We all know that you can't determine a creature's type by the artwork. Except dinosaurs, which they retconned to hell and back. I didn't make a video about this, and I assure you I am 100% serious that I heard this as a rumor, and then didn't verify it, and I'm still too lazy to, that they retroactively changed an enormous amount of cards that clearly were dinosaurs to have a dinosaur subtype so that you could build a better commander deck with dinosaurs from Ixalan. So now, it doesn't say it on the card, but you can argue with your friends and whip out your smartphones and say, well, it is now. They updated the I'd almost say Oracle text, but I'm not sure that applies to the subtype line. That's why I said they retconned it, because that's what they did. It's just straight up retconning. So, yeah, you could have done that with ninjas just as easily, but then again, I think you shouldn't have done it in either case, so... Oh, and also he points out that, like, Mistform, Ultimus, and Changelings don't count as ninjas. Well, they do within the rules, but yeah, I guess you're not counting them. Even though you're counting unstable ones, and this entire article is about the modern format. What a loon this guy is. There was definitely a pent-up demand. I mean, weebs get like that, so I mean, okay. As a modern and he started the sentence with and. No wonder I misread that. And as Modern Horizons was leaning toward tribal themes, ninjas seemed like a good fit. No, we wanted squirrels, okay? You should have doubled down on squirrels. I'm just saying. The first decision was to limit them to black and blue, the only two colors ninjas have ever appeared in. Oh, that I didn't know. We decided to give most of the ninjas ninjutsu, as every black bordered ninja, I should say, to date had that ability, but we're willing, I think he means we are. Oh my God, willing to make a few lower rarity ones without it. The sentence is so long it probably was a noun reference, whatever. We did make sure that those still had mechanics that made them feel ninja-y. Ninja-y is the most grammatically correct thing he's done in this article. Oh, FYI, if you're new here, I used to be a paid top-level editor for a company worth a lot more than Wizards of the Coast. In fact, I think they're worth several times more than Hasbro. So our goal for ninjas was twofold. One, we liked it as a blue-black draft strategy. Two, we wanted to add enough ninjas and ninja-related cards to the system to help players build ninja decks. I'm optimistic that we accomplished both of those tasks. Happy ninja-ing, everybody! Next up, goblins, because we didn't have enough of those already. What's a tribal theme that players would enjoy drafting around in Modern could use? If you said goblins, then you know how to read headers. Okay, that's actually pretty meta and pretty funny. Yes, goblins felt like a fun addition to the set for several reasons. They're never fun, they're red rush, everybody hates them. Goblins are AIDS, okay? Just to summarize, because like goblins, whatever, boring, who cares? They made it two colors because it'd be more interesting than just plain old blah, red goblins again. They wanted to add something to it and give people more options. Cool. The next header is assorted tribal. Two words that in Magic have exact polar opposite connotations and shouldn't ever be used in a sentence together. The Changeling infrastructure. Let me stop you right there. There's not enough Changelings and there are not enough of those and you're not going to draft them and no, you're wrong. With that in mind, the Changeling infrastructure also allowed a lot of one-of tribal cards. Remember what I just said about that not being enough? I didn't think they literally dropped in one-ofs on purpose and still considered it tribal because of Changelings. Oh my gosh. These were designed with two basic uses in mind. No kidding, I thought he was going to say like bears. Where it's like, oh, we didn't really put bears in the set, but we kind of did, and then just fill it in with changelings if you want. Which still you're never going to realistically draft. No, he's referencing one-ofs. It's not tribal if it's one-of. I'm sorry to break the news to you. In fact, tribal, as a term in Magic, is short for tribal synergy between different cards that share a subtype. Kind of implies you need more than one. Changelings ain't gonna fill it in. Also, fun fact, all changelings in this set are, all subtypes, but specifically, keep this in mind, they're all goats and they're all cowards. Just keep that in mind. So these were designed with two basic uses in mind. First, there are just a lot of tribal requests that we've gotten over the years. Yes, I'm sure all of them that exist, like somebody's a fan of something, whatever. Some people you just need to ignore. We couldn't make a tribal theme out of all of them, but we could give fans of that creature type one tribal card to help beef up their deck. So, okay, he's still trying to pass off the fact that, it's doable in draft Changeling, but really that's just bullshit. They just threw these in for people who wanted them. I mean, that's what you got to do. Like I said, don't prioritize draft. They actually made the right decision in this case, but then he's trying to justify it by lying to us. But we could give I read that. Second, this seemed like a fun thing that players might want to draft around. Funny you should use the term around, because nobody's going to draft a one-of tribal. They're going to draft around it, and then somebody's just going to get stuck with it at the end of a pack. I mean, some of them are so good, it's just like, who cares what the subtype is? It's just a good card, but everything he said in this paragraph is wrong, so I might as well just contradict his ridiculous logic here. Pick up as many different cards as you can and then use the Changeling glue to play them. So I guess he's saying, oh, one of here, one of here, one of here, one of here, and then, oh, I'm playing 5 different tribals because Changeling works with all of them. I am still highly doubtful, and then you're looking at the color match issues where, like he said, Changelings are, what did he say, primarily Boros? That's inherently problematic, so, I don't know, multi-tribal with Changelings, I don't think it's going to work. You'd have to pull them in such a sequence. If you pull one of, you have nothing, and then if you pull Changeling, I don't know, you might get double boosted, but it doesn't seem draftable just with the sheer math of it. Oh, now he says because Changeling is focused in white and black. Hold on, let me back the tape up. Oh, okay, he said Slivers were Boros. He did say black and white are primarily Changelings. My bad. So, blah, blah, blah. Pick up as many different cards as you can and then use the Changeling glue to play them. Bears are green, so... The secondary theme was aimed at limited, told ya, but was also available for casual constructed. Now, see, that's what I figured he was referencing this whole time. Casual constructed is... I'm going to grab a bunch of cards from just this one set, just Horizons, and build a deck out of it. I can't even name anybody who does that. I mean, it's technically called block constructed, but this is a single set block, and it's kind of not in a block. But that's what it really is block constructed. And I mean, normally back in the day, block constructed would be, instead of like standard, it would be just Theros block. So not everything that was legal at the same time, just that one block. So just the mechanics from that one. So if the block happens to just be one set, casual constructed for the set is block constructed. It's just a little bit smaller, but remember, they used to release like 180 card sets. So, you know, it's not that much smaller. A lot of it was filler too, just saying. So yeah, he wanted it to be healthy for casual constructed, a format that literally nobody will play for Modern Horizons, ever. It's draft and money. Like single sellers and people opening it for trade fodder. Like those are the people you should be catering to. And I'd say 80 to 90% in favor of the money. Because as soon as it's not monetarily wise to open a pack of this, people are going to stop opening packs of this no matter how much they want to do anything else with it. Because if you can't get your money back out of it or anywhere even close, you're going to buy something else. And remember, it's not even a majority of these packs getting opened by players. It's giant single sellers and card hoarders and, you know, the big single sellers who need 100 of every card plus. Those are who buy your products. And they stop opening the second that it is not profitable. That's why you should cater to them. Not, oh, this would be fun for draft, and then the whole set's a disaster. Oh, why is nobody buying it? We made it so fun for draft because nobody gives a shit. I'm sure the drafters are buying plenty. 3 packs at a time. Once a week. For comparison, I, myself, a small company, bought $15,000 worth of Ultimate Masters and opened it all. How many packs is that? I'll give you a hint. More than 3. It's actually a lot more than 3. I mean, people like Rudy, back the truck up because it got sent freight, okay? That shit's on a pallet, okay? He basically bribed the distributors with more money, like paying more per box, to divert them away from actual LGSs that actually needed the product for actual walk-in customers that actually support a store and give them to him instead. And if you think that's a conspiracy theory, he literally admitted it word for word in a video. So don't take my word for it. So yeah, some people open a lot and those some people are doing it because they can sell the cards for money. So anyway, because Changeling is focused in white and black, that means that most of the one of tribal cards at lower rarities had to be in one of those 2 colors. Other colors, or combinations of colors, could have tribal rewards, but we tended to do those at higher rarities where it was more about building around them in constructed. Now see, there he's referring to actually modern the format and commander. And what he really meant to say is they're at a higher rarity, they're less likely to be in the pack for drafting. And last paragraph is just dumb, so I'll skip it. So let's move on to snow. Oh, here we go. Another very common request we get is for more snow cards, especially reprints of the snow-covered basic lands. Now, it's actually exclusively snow-covered basic lands because the whole world is like running out of them, but they're also not worth very much, so most people who are hoarding them don't sell them. I mean, they're like $2-3 a piece, but they're also like at the same time kind of hard to find, which is an odd combination of things. But people need them for broken, degenerate, like, subtype diversity decks and, yeah. Or actually even super type diversity, I assume. I can't imagine anybody asking for snow covered as a mechanic to come back, unless they played back then and thought it was fun, I guess. I don't know, whatever. So, interestingly, the snow theme didn't happen until set design. Wow. Early on, Yeah, I can't get past that. So they just shoehorned it in and hoped it would work. That's why it looks so half-assed and ridiculously impossible to draft. It's scattered all over the color spectrum, and it's just completely pointless. If you think snow-covered is going to take off in Modern, it's no surprise that this was added as a last-second afterthought. You know why? Because it's not going to. Because the other 3/4 of the cards are still from an old set that they didn't print enough of, and you'd still need those. And still, between all of them, there's not enough to go around. Or, that's not the correct terminology. There's not enough to make a deck that's good. There's not a big enough pool to choose from of powerful cards. Or fast enough, I should say. Powerful probably, but like fast enough for Modern to be competitive. So early on, we were exploring other land-related themes and went down a couple paths that didn't end up working out. Like putting fetch lands in here? At one point in set design, I was asked if the players had any common land-related requests and brought up the snow-covered lands. I mean, yeah, this probably was the right time to put them in, but I wouldn't have put snow as a mechanic in the set. I would have literally just thrown these in. And just, that's it. And full art, buy them, yay, money. $2, $3, $4 a piece. Cool. The snow-covered basic lands were originally printed in Ice Age, which was, by the way, a long-ass time ago, with a number of cards that specifically cared about snow-covered lands. Alliances had a slight nod towards the snow theme. The designers of the set hadn't intended to have the set be an extension of Ice Age, so the few snow cards in the set were created by development. Okay, whatever. But didn't have any of the lands in it. Ooh, that must have been fun to try to draft. Cold Snap was designed as the missing third set from the Ice Age block. So it revisited the snow theme, adding in snow mana as a cost. And so that was an add to later. Okay, that actually makes sense. And using the snow super type on permanents other than lands. So that didn't exist yet either. Okay, I didn't know that. So actually that makes way more sense what he said before. So Cold Snap also reprinted the snow-covered basic lands. This was important as their inclusion in Cold Snap made the snow-covered basic lands legal in Modern and provided a few higher-powered Snow Matters cards to make players want them. Set design decided to add in the cycle of snow-covered basic lands in full art frames, no less. Yeah, I think they realized this set had no money in it, and they're like, what can we do? I'm surprised that they haven't added a box topper to the box, but let's just say they haven't said that they haven't, and leave it at that for now. So, last paragraph was like, so we added snow and a bunch of other permanents that care about snow. Yay. He does say that basically he thinks they put enough in for draft. Nope. By the way, I don't think you can do anything with snow and changelings, but I don't remember if on permanents it's a super type or subtype, and I'm too lazy to check, so who cares? Next up is lands and graveyards. I mean, this is pretty simple. He says, while a lot of the themes came from us trying to meet player requests, not all of them did. A good example is the lands and the graveyards theme, which, yeah, there is quite a bit of that. We were making cards with old mechanics, putting them in the colors that seemed most appropriate, and noticed that a lot of the mechanics we happened to put into red and green, both keyworded and not, were getting lands into the graveyard. So I guess he thought, let's just do something with that. So all we had to do was add in a few cards that provided rewards for lands being in your graveyard. And then they printed a bunch of degenerate broken crap in case you haven't seen the spoilers. And suddenly a bunch of random cards started working together synergistically. Let me just add, and breaking Modern. This is a good example of how we were able to find recurring themes showing up that we could weave into deck archetypes. So, okay, it's yet to be seen whether they're too powerful for Modern, but they're pushing it. So it seemed like it would fit perfectly and we added it. Like, that's his logic. We checked to see if this would be a little much for other formats. At least they haven't literally printed Landfall yet, but that's not graveyard lands. Although I did say yet. So, in addition to particular mechanical themes, Modern Horizons also steered us toward a few other goals, and the next is lots of mechanics we set out to make a time spiral-y set. One of the things that entailed was, I don't think that's the right use of that word, was having a lot of various keywords. I legitimately forgot what he said about making this set like really easy and simplistic before, but I think he just contradicted it again. Oh yeah, it was the number 2 goal of the set. Literally, word for word, make simple cards. Well, we stuffed in as many different keywords that nobody's ever heard of unless they've been playing for 20 years. Yeah, there was only 3 things that he described the set as, and that was number 2. So anyway, and I'm going to read this verbatim. It was a lot fun to get to play these keywords again and watch them mingle with one another. You do realize that most Magic players haven't been playing as long as you and have never heard of these keywords before, right? I mean, even if you say, but it's for modern players and modern players know more keywords. most of these cards and keywords are from prior to modern. So we're talking like Commander and then, 24,000 unique cards to choose from. Have you ever seen a card with this mechanic for Commander? Maybe not. I mean, I come across mechanics I've never heard of occasionally. We knew we wanted to recreate that feeling. Did you check how many of your current players right now were playing during Time Spiral? Because, you might have maybe gone back on that decision. So Modern Horizons leaned into using as many mechanics as it could. That's one of the things you'll experience when you play the set. It's filled to the brim with mechanics from the past. Yes, it adds complexity. Oh, I'm glad you noticed. But it also creates a very unique play experience. See, I agree with that. I'm like, yeah, just read what it does. There's reminder text. Just take the reminder text and do the reminder text. It's not hard. I don't know why people find it complicated. But at least he does admit that he contradicted the whole keep it simple thing, which I knew was literally not what they did in any way, shape, or form. It creates a very unique play experience. This set's hackathon codename wasn't Decadence for nothing. Dictionary definition: unrestrained or excessive self-indulgence, not complexity, variety. Once again, I think he's using a word incorrectly. By the way, secondary definition: the act or process of falling into an inferior condition or state, deterioration, or decay. Really? That's like the polar opposite. This cake is decadent, it doesn't mean it's rotting. It means you put a bunch of elaborate frosting on it to make it look cool. I have never heard of that definition for this word. Okay, so the next heading, lots of synergies. Another thing that Time Spiral Block did that we copied was weaving a lot of synergy into the set. Cool combos are a rich part of Magic's history, and we wanted to make sure the limited experience, once again, prioritizing draft, even though nobody cares, a limited experience of the set allowed you to feel clever as you mixed together the game's past. Well, you really should have prioritized, hey, we need to actually sell this at the end of the day. It has to be worth opening or people won't buy it. And it will sell 4 times less than we should. A big part of this was leaning on the fact that a lot of Magic mechanics play off similar aspects. The graveyard, instants and sorceries, creature combat, etc., allowing us to create open-ended cards that interact well with one another. When you play this set, you'll find you have a lot of moments where you'll be able to combine things you've never before combined in splashy and exciting ways. And that is true, and I love that about Magic, so that's cool. The next heading, Nostalgia. How many players did you pick up since the release of Return to Ravnica again? Was it, 4 to 6 million? As a percentage, that's a lot. I heard it's as many as 10 million, which, if you're wondering, according to their own numbers, is a majority. That means that a tiny minority of the players were playing long enough to have some giant feeling of nostalgia with older references when this entire set, by your own definition and ridiculous restriction, has to be reprints from older than modern. I mean, that's not just I've been playing since before the game exploded in popularity. That's I've been playing since forever. I mean, for me to get nostalgic, you'd have to put in Devotion and throw back to Theros. And even then, I've still probably been playing longer than most of you. And that's just a couple years. That's not even that long. So, as this product is aimed at more enfranchised players, we also leaned into being as nostalgic as possible. Still, if you look at the numbers, it's not the density of the community that he thinks it is. They're just the ones who are more into it online and more into social media. If you've been playing Magic for 20 years, you probably go on Reddit and talk about Magic once in a while. If you've been playing for 3 years, maybe you don't. 6 months? Probably not. Plus, not to mention all of the staff members at Wizards of the Coast, so everybody he talks to on a daily basis and hears from on social media is, remember back when, remember this, remember that set from 100 years ago? So yeah, the whole nostalgia thing, I get it and I get some of the references, but most of it's lost on even me. And look how many subs I have. I have 1,900 videos about Magic. If it doesn't resonate with me, uh-oh. I mean, I'm kind of into Magic, you could say. So let's see what exaggerated picture of the community he has with this one. Let's see. So existing references, blah, blah, blah. The trick, though, was making sure that those references were lenticular. I'm not even going to look it up. He's probably using it wrong. Meaning they added to the card if you got the reference, but didn't distract you from appreciating the card if you didn't. Oh, so that means a bunch of the references flew over my head. Cool. This set is filled with Easter eggs and references to the game's past, both mechanically and creatively. To write this article, I reviewed the entire set and was grinning ear to ear as I looked at all the cards. Oh God, they aren't all Easter eggs, are they? I got 10. If you are at all a Magic fan who's been playing for any length of time, I believe you'll be grinning when you see the whole set as well. I mean, I got the storyline and the references to like Yawgmoth. Whatever. At least he went with the dual purpose, so you're not just looking at something like, what does this mean? Like it'll just fly over your head and you're in blissful ignorance. So okay, I guess they did that right, but still. I don't agree with, let's throw back to Threshold because some people liked Threshold. Ooh, nostalgia feels. Oh, here we go. Finally, he says other formats. He's acknowledging that this set is primarily for that. And once people are done drafting it after a month, that's going to be what's most important. Actually, day one, that's going to be what's most important because it sets the card values. I've had people say like the average return on this is $18 a pack and we're only paying $10 a pack to draft it. I'm going to draft it, because I'm more likely to be able to draft money and then sell the cards. Okay, I get it. But most people, they're either going to draft it or not. So they're irrelevant when it comes to sales volume. So yes, other formats should have been the number one focus in ensuring that there's proper value in context of other formats. Modern and Commander, for example. They clearly got very distracted. That's what I'm getting from this entire article. They went 50 different directions. They said, throw this in, throw this in, throw this in, throw this in. Ooh, a bunch of references, yay. Duct taped it all together. And they basically got Iconic Masters too. Well, that explains it. I mean, now we know how this happened and why it happened. So there you go. So finally, he says, the name Modern Horizons definitely implies that this set is for Modern, but we didn't stop there. No, you didn't even start there. You didn't stop there. You didn't visit there. You didn't even drive through there, Mark. You headed for Modern. You named it after Modern, and then your GPS took you straight to Canada. And as we all know, nothing in Canada is modern. They sell milk in bags. I mean, they're basically cavemen. Hashtag Canadian cave people in the comments. Oh, hell, let's piss off the SJWs. Cavemen. Canadian cavemen. Cave people my ass. So they didn't stop there. Hell no, they didn't. The set was aimed at all sorts of Magic players. Should have been aimed at the singles bulk openers, but okay. For instance, we spent a bunch of time making sure there are lots of goodies for Commander players. That's great. I'm sure people appreciate them, but they're like $2 and nobody's going to open these or buy it. And you're going to get stuck with them. So, oops. There are a number of legendary creatures, including a number from Magic's past, that players have been asking for forever. Yeah, I think we know which two those are. For the Cube players, we had a lot of fun making new cards of old mechanics. That's true. They really helped out Cube players. But one, that's a tiny market, and two, the cards that they added for Cube players not worth anything. And a lot of them are in the common slot. Often putting them into colors they hadn't appeared in before. Because everybody plays 5 colors. Yeah, everybody's got that 5-color vampire cube. They're just waiting for those off-color, on-tribal mechanic cards. Yeah, I got my 5-color vampire deck sitting right here. I call it Twilight. I don't even need to say the joke. You probably already put it together in your head. For casual players, we have lots of tribal cards to allow them to make a horde of different creature decks. For the Vorthoses, I still never looked up what that means. There are tons and tons of references to Magic's story. Does that mean lore fans? I don't know. I've heard people say the term and I just literally never looked it up. Welcome to my channel where that's an ongoing theme. Magic story, characters, and worlds, some appearing on cards for the first time. My preview today is one of these. Oh, I guarantee it was Yawgmoth. Basically, the set was made for anyone who loves Magic and isn't intimidated by a little extra complexity. Keep watching for previews, and I think you'll see that this set has something for almost everyone. That's the problem. This is like the crazy, just scatterbrained everywhere set where they tried to do way too much, make it draftable, and then whoops, it has to be worth money. Oopsies. I mean, to reiterate, that is the bottom line. People are not going to buy it, not going to open it, and the set's not going to succeed. It might be well loved by people. I mean, Masters 25, cool, nostalgia, loved it, yay, reprints. Wasn't worth enough. Iconic Masters, not enough value. Also, they sent way too many to Sports and More, which isn't their real business name, but let's stay away from that rabbit hole. So, yeah, what they should have done is just thrown in like 20 money cards. Just, okay, what do we need to do? Let's finalize this set. Okay, this is cool. This works as a draft. Let's just throw in some money, just to be sure. Just make it worth opening. Yeah, we're going to take away. Maybe we got to delete a couple of these, that. Oh, we got to get rid of this tribal, whatever. You had to put a bunch of 50-plus cards in here or nobody's going to open it. It's that simple. We all know this. This is how every Magic set works. It doesn't matter how much you loved Amonkhet. It wasn't worth opening at the time because the cards weren't valuable enough. I thought the set was wonderful, the lore, the art, everything about it I loved, but I bought next to none of it because it wasn't worth opening, and they need to sell products to make money. And when a set fails, it sells, you guys don't even realize this, it sells like upwards of $50 million less product if people don't open it as much as like a popular product. You cannot take all this time, pay all the artists, do all the play testing, printing, shipping, and all that, and have a product sell 3 times less than Ultimate Masters. You cannot do that. They cannot afford it, especially after discontinuing the Masters set, which was the dumbest thing they've ever done. I mean, seriously, it outranks not rotating standard twice a year, because that's like the number 2 dumbest thing they've ever done. I get it. They love it. Oh, cool. The players are going to love it. I like some of the cards in it. I want some of them for my commander decks. Yippee skippy, yay popular. Oh, crap. They're going to lose money on this, and distributors are going to get stuck with it because it's not worth opening. This is very bad. So remember, every time they do something stupid and lose a ton of money, they do something worse to make it up, like up the effective price to play MTGO, make Arena more abusive and take out gems for payments and make you pay with cash. Print 2 or 3 Masters sets in short succession. Like, they make up for it somehow. So when they screw up and they lose money by making a disastrously bad product like this, they're like, oh, Hasbro's not going to like this. They aren't going to like these numbers. So they do something to shore it up, and it's something greedy, abusive, and terrible. And that affects you. Like, if you don't care how much money they make, just remember it comes back around and they try to hit your wallet again. And if you're thinking, oh, but Des, it's way too early to call this a financial failure. No, it is not. They would have to drop something so crazy on us, like, oh, FYI, it has masterpieces in it. Oh, and there's another $100 bonus box topper in it. Okay, now we're talking. Like, that would resurrect this. And yeah, I probably would save that for the end. So like, okay, long shot, maybe this isn't a financial disaster, but with what we're seeing so far and the card prices I'm seeing on pre-orders, it is bad. It's looking like the day 1 box EV right now, as we're sitting, is probably not going to exceed the actual fake market generated MSRP. So the sale price on day 1. That's not good. So his closing statement is BS. Go read it if you want. That's about it for this article. So at least, yeah, this is what I wanted, a breakdown of what they were thinking, like step by step, why the cards went in the way they did, why they chose what they did. He gave answers, but it all comes together to whoopsies, we forgot to make it worthwhile. And I agree with everything they did. It's just at the end of the day, like I said, it has to come together to be worth opening. It just has to. That's how this works. I like the set otherwise, except for the choice of Slivers and like goblins and a couple other beefs I have with it. But other than that, the art's cool. It looks fun. Blast from the past. Yay. Cool additions to my existing decks. More stuff to play with the modern. I mean, it's all positives besides the fact that it's a massive failure. That's a shame. And I can't wait to see what this actually effectively does to modern too, because there might be some overpowered as all hell deck that rises out of this. Because remember, these are cards we've never seen before, and they're cranking the power up to 11 to make them appropriate and suited for modern. And that could backfire. So as far as I'm concerned, as far as I can see, it's starting at bad and it might go to worse. Like, oh boy. I would have preferred Conspiracy 3 at this point. My gosh. So, I mean, hopefully this answers all your questions. Wow, what a hurricane. Yeah, I'll see you guys next video.